Welcome and Happy New Year to all of you. Today we're talking about finding some purpose in the year ahead, living intentionally. So this content is from a 3-hour workshop that I have done in the past. This today is 30 minutes long because it's New Year's Day. We have other things to do and places to be. So I have condensed 3 hours of content into 30 minutes today. So this is designed to just be an overview of the process of finding purpose, setting goals related to that purpose, crafting a vision and a mission statement for the year ahead. So all of us humans desire to add value to the world in some way. Um, Viktor Frankl, if you've ever read his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he says that there's three ways that we feel meaning. One is through loving relationships or caring for other people. One is through doing meaningful work. And the third is through we experience meaning by being resilient and courageous in the face of challenges. And so I have found that to be true in my life, and many of the people that I have worked with feel similarly that those are the three biggest ways that we find meaning. And so I just want to take you through this three-step framework for finding that in your life. Here are my three steps. This is what has worked for me. I've been doing this same process every year with one friend of mine. We go out to breakfast on New Year's Day or the day after. It's tomorrow. We're going out to breakfast. And we go through this framework in order to set goals for ourselves for the year ahead. And we get together in June to review it as well. Because we don't have tons of time together today, again, I'm just sharing the framework with you. So if you just want to kind of jot down some notes and write down the framework, that would be best. I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions, and they're very reflective questions. And so I'm going to assume that this 30 minutes isn't enough time to answer those and really be reflective. So once you have this framework down and in mind, and I'll share some resources with you at the end of this 30 minutes, then you can go and take a couple of hours or a retreat day and just think about all of this as you process it. So the first step is to review and assess. We're going to review 2025 because you can't move forward without looking back. I mean, you can, but it's best to look back on your lessons learned and things that happened, accomplishments. We're going to assess strengths and passions and relationships and see where that could change or be better in the coming year. Number two, we will identify our values and cast a vision for our life. And then the third step is to craft a mission statement and to set some goals that match up with that mission statement. So I'm going to jump right in. Step number one is to set the stage. As I said, we're going to review the year and identify our passions. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions for reviewing your year. The first is, what are your accomplishments? What did you accomplish this year? Our minds as humans immediately goes to negativity. We're wired that way. It's evolution. It's trying to keep us safe. So we always think about what could go wrong, what's going to go wrong. And so we're wired that way. But I'm asking you to refuse to go to the negative yet. We're going to get there. What are your accomplishments? What positive things happened in 2025? Go back to January, February, March. Look at a calendar if you need to. Where do you have wins from this year? Did you get the promotion at work that you wanted? Did you get a new job? Did you spend time with your family? Did you lose the weight, get healthy, eat healthier? What is it that happened in 2025 that is an achievement for you, an accomplishment? Question number two, what held you back? What held you back in 2025? What didn't work for you? And you can think in some various categories for these questions. Finances, did you pay off a debt? Did you accrue some debt? Um, in your business, what were your accomplishments? What didn't work? In your career, in your parenting, in the way you serve other people, in your spiritual life, did you grow or did you grow away from God? Um, Did you accomplish a house project and clean out a closet that you've been wanting to clean out for 10 years? Or did you decorate something? Did you travel? Did you learn something new? Where are some disappointments? Where did things not go so well? Perhaps you're dealing with some grief in 2025. There could have been a death in the family. There could be a death of a relationship or an end to a relationship that you're dealing with. Weight gain or loss of health, a diagnosis. Um, again, accruing some debt. Maybe you're exhausted or drained or just tired. Maybe there's anger or bitterness. What didn't go well this year for you? Excuse me, I am dealing with the little New Year virus. Knowing these things, your accomplishments, and the things that didn't go well can help you prepare for the next year ahead. We know there's going to be disappointments. There always is in life. It's part of it. And so if we can look back and say like, oh, these are the things that happened, but I had some accomplishments. These are the things that didn't go well. Let me try to prepare for what might not go well in 2026. Not everything is predictable, obviously, but there are some things that we can probably predict that are going to be difficult. It's difficult to go find a new job if you want to leave a job. It's difficult to work on a relationship that is in conflict or struggling. Those are obstacles that you can predict that you're going to face. And if you can predict them, then you can prepare for them. So that's what this step is all about. Now, the next place, or the next sort of question to go to, there we go. This is a question that really got me in part of my planning for one year, but I was asked, what's one change in your thinking or your habits that would bring about the most change in your life? I was asked this question. I'm not sure if it was from a book or a webinar that I attended, but it was back in 2020 and it was around COVID time. And I knew that my best time of day was the morning, but I loved having a couple glasses of wine every night. And it made me lazy and tired in the morning. And I immediately knew the answer to this question. What one thing, habit could I change that would bring about the most change in my life? I knew it was drinking every night. I knew it was drinking during the weekdays because once I stopped, I was up at 6 a.m. and I was accomplishing more work when I was at my best. So, what is the one change in the way you think or a habit that you have that would really create the most change in your life? It's a big question. It'll take some sitting with to figure that out. The second thing we're going to do as part of this step one is to review your strengths. If you've not taken a strength finder or a personality assessment, I personally love the DISC assessment and happy to talk more about that if anybody would like to. But if you haven't taken any of those, it's sometimes hard to know your strengths. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about that. Knowing your strengths just involves knowing what you're good at. It's usually something that you love to do. It's something that people compliment you on. Hey, you're really good at that. Those are usually your strengths. When do you feel most fulfilled? When do you feel most like yourself? What are you naturally good at doing? That's the question of your strengths. The third type of question I want to ask you, this is still in step one, we're still assessing our lives. What moves you? What are you passionate about? What do you want to take people by the shoulders and shake them and tell them? What breaks your heart? For me, I really struggled as a young adult with clear communication and leaning into conflict. Most of us do struggle with that, right? And I can see in my past a lot of that conflict really affected my life as I moved through different jobs and parenting and marriage. And I really have a desire to help young people in their 20s learn to communicate well. I believe it will ease a ton of suffering because I suffered lots of anxiety because I didn't know how to communicate well. And so I just want to take young people and shake them and say, it doesn't have to be this hard. Let me teach you a couple practical communication skills and some emotional intelligence to help you out. So it breaks my heart to see young people who are lonely and disconnected and have anxiety simply because they don't have the proper skills to connect with other people or engage in conflict when things get difficult. What moves you? What breaks your heart? What are you passionate about? And then finally, to assess 2025, who are some people that supported you, that you loved being around, that gave you energy, that helped make you more productive? And who are some people that maybe drained you? Do you have some acquaintances or friends or coworkers that you spend time with, but they drain your energy or they pull you into negativity or gossip? Who are those people? Maybe it's time for a proper boundary. Maybe there's a conversation that you need to have, or just a boundary that you need to shift a little bit. Write down those people, people you want to spend time with, and people maybe that you need a boundary with in 2025. This was another really life-changing question for me. I was not being real intentional about some of my relationships and was just kind of going with the flow because I love people and I love to do things with people. And so I would just say yes to everything. But this was a good change for me to realize that not every relationship is good and fun and good for where I wanted to be. Okay, so that's step one. Assess where you are, review 2025. And now that we have done that, so I'm going to encourage you to go sit with those questions for a while, right? As much time as you need. Write them down, journal, whatever you need to do before you move on to step two. Step two is to identify what you value, what you find to be most important in life, and then cast a vision for your life. I'm going to take you through a quick values exercise. It's much longer. I have a worksheet that will take you through it later, but I want to take you through the shorter version of it just so you can get a taste of what the exercise feels like. Your values are just the beliefs and behaviors that define you, and they kind of tell other people what you care about most. Let me admit somebody. There we go. Here is three questions that will help you explore your values. Now, the worksheet that I have that I will provide you with at the end is going to give you much more in discovering your values. But these are the three questions that can give you an idea of what you value most. Think of a person that you admire and then write down why you admire them. A person you admire and what it is about them that you admire. The second question in exploring your values is, what's a trip or a vacation or an event that you loved, your favorite vacation, the best event you've ever been to? Maybe it's a wedding or a party, trip to Hawaii. I don't know what it is for you. A trip to Hawaii is one of my favorite trips. Why was that trip, event, vacation so special? What made it your favorite? And then the last question to answer to explore your values is, when is a time when you were really, really angry, really, really sad, or really, really happy? A time when your emotions were really high. And what triggered that? What triggered that? I'll just give you a couple examples for me. The first question, the a person that I admire, the first thing that comes to mind are my parents. I really admire my parents. And the reason is because they're really fun and they're really, really generous. And so those are clues to what I might value. And I know I value fun. I need everything to be fun. I don't want to do any work if it's not going to be fun. I always like to have fun and humor as a part of what I'm doing. I value generosity because I want to give not just money, but I want to give myself away to others, like my parents have done in my life. The third question, a time when my emotions are really high. I get really, really mad when people aren't honest about who they are. Like they're kind of fake. You know what I mean when I say like someone's fake? I really, really dislike that. And that led me to understand that I really value authenticity, being real, which is one of the reasons I'm so willing to share all of my failures and um, lessons learned publicly because I value that type of authenticity. It speaks to me, it helps me. Okay, so those are the three questions. Again, I'm going to give you a longer worksheet to go through those. Now you know, maybe you know one or two of your values just by hearing those questions. I also have a list for you if you need help thinking of some. That'll be part of the resources I give you at the end. This is from Brene Brown's book called Dare to Lead, and she gives a big long list of values. You can add your own to this, but I'll provide this for you at the end of today's webinar. Another part of step two is to cast a vision. What do you want your life to look like a year from now? And I would recommend that you get really, really detailed about this. Be as detailed as you want to be. What kind of car are you driving? How much money is in your savings account? How much debt has been paid off a year from now? What do you want your life to look like at this time next year? What are you doing? How much money are you making? How much money are you spending? What are your relationships like? Who are you spending your most time with? What are you wearing? Whatever you want. But cast that vision. It could be for your personal life, or if you're on this call and you are thinking about a business, then you can cast a vision for your business as well. But see it, picture what you want it to look like. Some people love to do a vision board. I have a visual of what I want my life to look like in 5 years. Some people do it as more of a life plan and like to type it out. That's fine too. Visualization has been proven scientifically to increase the chances of what you're picturing happening. So, for example, stroke victims who do meditations where they visualize a particular part of the body that might be paralyzed from a stroke, if they visualize that part of their body recovering and being healed and moving, they're way more likely to recover full movement of that body part than someone who doesn't use visualization. So, visualization is very important in finding your purpose and setting goals for your future. Welcome in, Beth. Great to see you. A couple questions for visualizing. What are you doing? How much? Whoops. Let me go back to that. What are you doing in a year? How much are you earning or saving? What do your relations look like? How do you look? How do you feel? One of the things on my vision board last year was a picture of a bike and a picture of a paddle board. And I want a bike and I want a paddle board, but I probably only did it like 5 times last year because I can't lift the bike and the paddle board onto the top of my car very well. And so one of my goals is to gain enough strength that that is easy for me to put those on top of my car. They're both really heavy. So that is part of my vision board, the paddle board and the bike. I'm going to lift them on top of my car so I can go do them more often. Okay. Now you've spent some time reviewing your year. You know what you value, what you find, what you hold to be most important in your life. I would say to come up with 3 to 5 things that you value. If you have any more, then you start to kind of feel all over the place. You want to have 5 most important values. These values can help you decide, help you discern between different options that you might have in life. So you take your values and you can make decisions using those values. Are these decisions aligned with what I value? Is my mission aligned with what I value? So you have your values, you have a vision of what you want your life to be like. This is where we get to a little bit of the hard part. crafting a mission statement. The mission statement is simply what you're going to do and how you're going to get there to reach that vision. So the mission statement will include our goals as well. Well, not the statement, but this part will include setting some goals as well. So your mission statement is what you do, how you do it, and what things will look like on the other side of what you do. So let me give you a couple examples of mission statements. It helps me if I have a couple examples in front of me, but Amazon's mission statement is to make customers' lives better and easier every day by relentlessly inventing on their behalf. Okay, so you can see in that mission statement, it's a very clear, short declaration of what they do, who they do it for, and why it matters. A mission statement is short, clear, concise. What you do, who you do it for, and why it matters, or what's different after you do the thing that you do. So Amazon does it for their customers. What do? They invent. They invent new ways to shop, new ways to deliver. And what is the outcome? Why does it matter? Because it makes our lives easier. I know my life has been made a little bit easier by Amazon. I still like to shop local, but I also do love me a good Amazon package on the front porch. My own personal mission statement, also my business mission statement, is I want to equip people with the skills to navigate life and relationships with confidence and resilience. That's my mission statement. I like to equip people with skills to navigate life and relationships with confidence and resilience. My audience is people. I particularly love talking to young people. The outcome is they are more resilient and more confident in their relationships, in their work, in life. And the thing that I do is teach them skills. I teach communication skills. I teach emotional intelligence, soft skills, people skills. So when you craft your mission statement, this is the template for it. I can provide this entire PowerPoint as well for you, so that you have all of these slides. But the mission statement template is like this. I will do something. That's the action. So I teach skills for people, for young people, for my coworkers, for my customers, for my clients by doing what? Teaching communication, teaching resilience. And the desired impact is on the other side of that, people will be more resilient and confident and be able to communicate better in their lives. So I will do something for an audience by the work I do to get to the desired impact. If you're thinking about your business, then your template might be more like Amazon's, right? We do this by a certain action for our customers to provide value to the customer. Okay. The mission statement, I would say, is the hard part. I needed a lot of help on that part when I was trying to come up with it. When you come up with one, keep testing it, keep playing with it, memorize it. Does it roll off your tongue? Does it make you excited? Does it feel like you? So once you come up with one, keep playing with it, rewrite it, work it over, let other people look at it. It should be memorable, it should be meaningful, short, concise, and clear. And again, I have a worksheet for you that I'll give you at the end to help with that. The final step in finding purpose is now you've already looked at what you value. You've looked at what you're passionate about, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, what makes you happy. You've set a vision for your life, what you want your vision to be. The vision for my business is that I want to create an army of people on this earth that know their place in the world and are adding value to other people. That's my vision for my business. An army of people that know their place and are adding value. simply through having emotional intelligence and communication skills. So this is where we get down into the details. We set some goals and then we put a strategy behind those goals. So looking at your vision, considering your values, how do you make that mission come to life? How do you make that mission statement come to life? So for me, again, a goal for me would be to speak at orientation at 5 colleges this fall. That's one of my goals because I want to equip young people with communication skills that help them be more resilient in college. I want to help young people create a career for themselves that doesn't have them leaving their job in the first year. It's something like 50% of young people are being fired from or quitting their job within the first year of working out of college. That breaks my heart because they're struggling with communication. And so I want to do something about that. So my goal is to speak at these conferences. The second goal that I have, because I also value family, is to visit my family once per quarter. Once per quarter. After you set a couple of goals that match up to your mission statement, you have to put a strategy behind them. I would say you wouldn't want to have more than 4 or 5 goals, maybe 6. Once you get too many goals, you start to spread yourself a little too thin. You're less likely to achieve them. But if my goal is to speak at orientation at 5 colleges, it's not good enough that I just write that goal down. Now I need a strategy behind that. There's probably 20 things underneath that that I have to do before I get those 5 gigs at those colleges, right? To visit my family once per quarter, it's not just going to happen because I wrote it down as a goal. What's my strategy? I'm going to put it on the calendar. I'm going to block weekends out that I can go visit. I'm going to check with them to see when they're available. I'm going to make some plans and do something fun while we visit. So it's not enough just to write the goal. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong and then end up not achieving what they wanted to achieve. You need a strategy under each goal. What are you doing every single day to get to that goal? What are you doing every single day to accomplish your mission for the year? Okay. A couple of ways to test your goal. You've probably heard of SMART goals before. If you haven't, that's everywhere. You can look that up. It helps you write very specific goals. It's not good enough to say, I want to lose weight, or I want to get healthy. You have to say, I want to lose 5 pounds, and I'm going to do that by going to CrossFit twice a week and then walking 5 miles 3 times a week. Like, let's get real specific with our strategy to reach the goals. Make sure it's realistic. Make sure it's exciting to you. Put a time frame on it. When are you going to do that by? I need to reach out to 5 colleges or universities, to the student affairs team or the people who put on orientation. I need to do that by the end of January, or I'm not going to get 5 colleges. I might get one, right? So that's my timeline on that. I need to reach out and connect with some colleges by the end of January. So put a timeline on each of your goals. And then it's always best to have a buddy or a partner for accountability who can help you remember to get there. What support will you need? I need lots of support in all of my goals, right? I need my husband's support. I need my kids' support. They need to let me come visit them if I'm going to go do that. So, what's the strategy for each of your goals? Whew, that's a lot for 30 minutes. That's the framework. Number one, review the year, assess your strengths and your relationships. Number two, identify your values and cast a vision for your life. And number three, craft a mission statement for your year. Write down 5 or 6 goals and then put your strategy down for each goal. And then begin to move that strategy into your calendar every single week by time blocking. If this resonated with you and you want to learn more, if you want to do this with me, we can go deeper into this process in some coaching. I'm also starting a masterclass on finding purpose and going through all these steps in a much deeper way late in January. Going to be going through this book with a group of people. So I can do one-on-one coaching, or this is more of a group coaching situation. This book is called Put Your Dream to the Test by John Maxwell. 10 questions to help you see it and seize it. Those are two options for you. If you just are like, no, I'm just going to go sit and take a day and do this myself, that's great too. I encourage you to do that. I will send you the resources that I used um, for this breakout or this 3-hour workshop. I will send you the slides, and then I have a couple worksheets for you that help you work through some of these things.